Winter Fall Anime 2023 has been pretty decent. There's been some really good shows. And there have been some really bad shows. And there have been some really weird shows. A lot of time anime fans like to just watch whatever and then criticize it after. You see this a lot, like once my hero was the golden child and now my hero is the trash on the side of the road. You see this with Black Clover, once a hero and now on the side of the road. But there's this one anime that everyone once loved and is now hated by all. And that anime is of course Spy X Family. Now Spy X Family last year was on everyone's mind. Everyone loved it. Everyone thought Spy X Family was going to be one of the best anime of all time, and it really was. It did something completely unique that no other anime was doing at the time. Spy X Family had this unique vibe of being a Sunday morning cartoon mixed with being completely watched by adults, but at the same time having a deep narrative that was really cool and complex, with Loid who was crazy, Yor who was crazier, and then Bond who was just cold, and of course the main character Anya with telepathy. There was so much you could do there in having a real story, and then all of a sudden people decided that it fell off. When anime fans decide something falls off, it doesn't just fall off, it falls off a cliff. It falls off a 10-foot cliff, and all of a sudden anime fans want nothing to do with it. It's a show with a little girl as the main character, and anime fans on Twitter, it's like World War II out there. They're throwing shots and shots, putting her up in graphics saying, oh, you remember when everyone used to talk about this? They're throwing Spy X Family out there with Promised Neverland, and I never watched Promised Neverland, but based on how everyone else talked about it, whatever happened in season 2 of Promised Neverland, that is just like Voldemort. Like, that is like the one that should not be named. I have not even watched it, and I'm scared to even mention it because of how bad it fell off, and no one should be in that graphic. And people were just going crazy, clowning people that used to like the show. Like, dog, it was a casual, nice watch that we all liked, and the reason for that is pretty simple, but I'm gonna talk about why that's not as big of a deal now. So when Spy X Family season 2 started, a lot of the times when these type of slice of life chill anime come out, they have this weird in-between, like this crossing, like this rite of passage in between arcs that can span in the manga like say 8 chapters or so, where it's just a whole bunch of mini stories, kind of like in One Piece when they're just going around sailing, chilling, not doing much. And this isn't that big of a deal, except in the anime it was like 5 episodes and everyone's kind of like, what the fuck is going on here? These types of animes, the title is like 2 titles because you have 2 stories in each. That was going on in Spy X Family, and they were cool, chill stories, and it was like whatever, it was still Spy X Family, but it got really out of hand. There was one episode that had like 4 names in the title, and it was like, what in the world is going on? It was like 4 mini stories, and it was just like, wow, I don't care about any of this, and none of it added anything to the story at all. There was some bullshit with Damien and the fucking Pinhead Larry kid, and I don't even know what was going on there. Yor's brother had some nonsense mission where he narked on this guy that was just trying to get his bag. It was the strangest thing, and it really wasn't adding much to the story, and honestly, Anya was barely in it, Loid was barely in it, and it was just not great. It honestly did feel like a waste of time when you were watching it, and it honestly wasn't ever considered dropping it, because it was like 20 minutes a week. It was like whatever, it was still chill. I understand why people were coming crazy at it, but now season 2 has just gotten serious. I'm talking serious, like holy shit, I'm so excited for what's gonna happen next series. Long story short, Yor the assassin, very much so, and the whole rest of the series hasn't really done anything too significant, nothing crazy, nothing really out there. She was just around in season 1 just chilling with her gag jokes, and now in season 2 they created the scenario where all of a sudden the whole family is on this boat, and since Yor's a hired mercenary, she's hired to protect this really valuable individual, and that individual has a whole bunch of other assassins going after them. This is all taking place on a cruise. So of course they've bullshit some way to get Loid and Anya on the cruise too, and all of a sudden now Yor has to somehow navigate this cruise while at the same time trying to avoid telling Loid that she's also an assassin. And it's this really awesome dynamic, because all of a sudden now you see Yor struggling with the fact that she no longer wants to do this assassin gig. She decided that the Thorn Princess to put the hammer down and really just move on to better things, while at the same time Anya's sitting there like, damn, she really in a bad situation. But the next minute she's like, at the same time I am on a cruise, and Loid has no idea what's going on. And at this point there's so many characters and so many things you can do, you're also going to be confused as to what's going on with Loid, and then Anya is also doing some crazy stuff over here, and Spy X Family has that just bizarre feeling of like, oh my god, we're just gonna go bigger and bigger and bigger, and because we're chill and because we're cool, we know that we can get away with doing big things with bullshit explanations, but hey, it's hype, and if it's hype, that's all that matters. That's why I think Spy X Family is so underrated this season, because they're gonna do so many hype things, and yes, we had that bullshit in the beginning, but with all of the crazy stuff going going on in season 2, you're gonna see Yor throwing down with all of these different assassins, while at the same you're gonna see them all casually chill out on this cruise. And that's what Spy X Family does well, and that's what can't be lost in this message, in this hype of actual assassin work, is the fact that Spy X Family at its core, at its best, still is a show about slice of life, making you feel like a kid, making you feel young again. And that's what they're gonna be able to do here. And having Loid somehow get involved in this, I'm so curious. And honestly, one of the reasons I'm so hyped for this cruise arc, you know how Naruto fans talk about Naruto versus Pain, you know how One Piece fans talk about Marineford, or how Bleach fans talk about Soul Society? That is how they're revering this cruise arc. That's what I've heard, that this cruise arc is going to be the greatest thing I've seen in my entire life. That after this cruise arc, the Mona Lisa is gonna get teared down, and they're just gonna play Spy X Family on repeat, because that is how hyped this arc is supposed to be. And yes, a lot of my reaction is a part of that, but you can tell when Spy X Family is doing their nonsense episodes and when they're doing a serious episode, and this feels very, very, very serious. I think it's telling too for the future of the series. There was so much setup in all of season 1, introducing all of these characters one by one, giving them 2-3 episodes each, and now it has a chance to actually tell a grand narrative, one narrative, whereas before it was a collection of small narratives that all had like conjoining pieces, but nothing really too sufficient. But now we have something that connects all of the characters in this really interesting setting, because at the end of the day, it is a cruise and there's so many things they can get up to. It is a shame though that Bond isn't there, because Bond is a cold brother. Like, Bond is that guy. Like, Bond, oh my god, Bond is like Panda from JJK. If we could have a spin-off on Bond and Panda, like, oh my goodness, we just have to lay it to rest. He did not make it on. Man, I really hope he pops up in the next episode. That would be so hype. With that being said, is Spy X Family hitting for you right now, or is Spy X Family kind of like, I don't really know about it? If it is hitting for you, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this video on Attack on Titan vs One Piece. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.